Alright, so today we are going to be doing partnership. Ownership structures, we won't be covering each and every concept. We'll only be covering the most important concepts of all and basically the basics of partnership that you need to know to give your examination, of course. So without further ado, let's get into the chapter and the video. Okay, so the partnership form of business organization was evolved to overcome the shortcomings of sole proprietorship and joint Hindu family business. Of course, sole proprietorship and joint Hindu family business have their own set of disadvantages, and to overcome all of this, partnership came into place. So, as the size of the business expands, one person is unable to provide the necessary capital and managerial skills. Therefore, two or more persons form partnership to carry on business by pooling their financial resources and managerial skills. Thus, partnership is an extension of sole proprietorship, something that you need to underline right now with your yellow pen if you're new to this channel and video. Whenever we are doing commercial applications, we always use the yellow pen for important stuff and green pen for things that you can just read through basically. Okay? So you can mark. Thus, partnership is an extension of sole proprietorship. So what is the meaning of partnership then? A partnership is formed by two or more members, each of whom is liable for the firm's debts. Two or more individuals may form a partnership by making a written or oral agreement stating that they will carry on a business jointly and will share the profits therefrom. So, what is a partnership then? It is formed by two or more members, right? Each of whom are basically liable for the firm's debts. This will be a firm. Why? Because there are a group of people or one or two people coming together to carry on a certain type of business activity, right? And the agreement can be oral or even written agreement stating that they will carry on the business jointly and they will share the profits therefrom, and there shouldn't be any disadvantages as in dishonesty between the partnership. So partnership is therefore a group of persons or people who have contributed to the capital for setting up some business. A partnership is a voluntary association of two or more persons who agree to carry on some business jointly and share its profits and losses. The persons or people who enter into partnership are individually called partners and they are collectively called as a firm. The name under which they carry on the business is called the firm name. Okay? Then what are the features of partnership? Okay. So the essential characteristics of partnership are as follows. Two or more persons. Partnership is an association of two or more persons. There must be at least two persons to form a partnership. A person cannot enter into a partnership with himself, of course, because then it would be called a sole proprietorship. The maximum number of persons is 10 in the case of banking business and 20 in other types of business. So basically, there should always be two or more. Otherwise, one would basically mean a sole proprietorship itself, right? Agreement should be done. Partnership is an outcome of an agreement between two or more persons. It can be either oral or in the form of written or contract or anything. The relationship of partnership arises from the formation of a contract and not from the status or birth. If the proprietor gives a share in the profits to his employee, it will be not called a partnership. That would just be called his work and his dividend of work. That wouldn't be a partnership. You are forming an agreement that you are both liable for all the debts, you're liable for the risks, the profits, and all the losses and everything the business goes through. You both are in an agreement coming together to take on a business activity which is basically called a firm. Okay? And unless there is an agreement of partnership between the two, the agreement may be oral or written, as I said. Lawful business is very, very important. A partnership is formed by carrying a business. Association of persons who jointly own a house without carrying a business is not a partnership. Moreover, the business carried on the partners must be lawful, and illegal acts may take down the whole firm and also may not benefit, of course. It won't benefit. It will bring a lot of loss into the business. Then sharing of profits is very, very important. If you're coming into an agreement, you both of the partners will share equal amount. So the agreement between the partners must be to share the profits of the business. There will be no partnership without the intention of a mutual gain. Mutual agency is also important because partnership business can be carried on by all the partners or by any of them acting on behalf of the others. So basically, in this case, in a partnership, not it is not important that all the partners are active. Some of them can also be the silent role players behind that are adding on to the partnership. Some of them can be that are shown to the public. So it is a mutual agency. Partnership business can be carried on by all persons or by any of them acting on behalf of the others. In other words, every partner is an implied agent of the other partners in the firm. Each partner is liable for the acts performed by the other partners on behalf of the firm as well. Then it is utmost good faith. Partnership is based on mutual trust and confidence. Even one dishonest partner will bring a lot of loss into the business and also just the person himself, right? Unlimited liability for each of the partner. Each partner is liable to an unlimited extent to the firm's obligations outsiders. This means that if the partner assets are inadequate to meet its debts, even the personal property of the partners will be given to the people. Restriction of the transfer of interest. So now if I am transferring, so basically if no partner can transfer his share in the partnership without the prior consent of other partners. Everyone have to come together. They have to come into a mutual decision. If everyone allows that, that's only when the partner can transfer his shares. No legal entity, a partnership firm has no separate legal existence independent of the partners, just like a sole proprietorship. Now, this is what you can mark in green, but before that, mark all the features in yellow. Everything is equally very, very important. And the distinctions can be marked in green. Just something that you can go through because it is very easy and we have basically covered all of it. Okay? Yes, done. Now let's move on to the merits and the demerits of the partnership. Now, merits of the partnership. First thing, ease of formation. The partnership form of business organization enjoys the following advantages. Hope you all wrote all the points that I told you to. Point number 1, ease of formation. Partnership is a simple form, inexpensive to establish. Only like an agreement is required. No legal formalities or formal documents are required. Of course, you have to be registered in some kind of law. Like the Partnership Act law. But apart from that, you don't need to go through like 1,000 documents, like formal. A lot of formalities are just skipped in partnership. You just have to come together and an agreement will do. Of course, larger financial resources is also one more advantage because since you are more than one, each of you, if you say give a capital of 5 lakh, at the end you will exactly have like about 10 lakhs or so if you are 2 partners, and if you are 10, that will be even more. It will be even better, right? So there's a large number of resources, unlike sole proprietorship and also joint Hindu family firm. You are giving your share, but the karta is the karta is almost like the sole proprietorship in its own, right? Because he is the owner, the manager, and the controller, and the others are just like the co-part censors, basically. Then this combined abilities and judgment, definitely. A lot of times in sole proprietorship and joint Hindu family business, the karta and the sole proprietor may take very hurried decisions. But in the case of a partnership, there are 2 or more people coming together. So there is combined abilities and judgment, and if one person is wrong and taking a hasty decision, the other person will stop that person, of course. Direct motivation, ownership and management of business are vested in the same person. There is a direct relationship between the effort and the reward. How much effort you will give, the same reward you will get. Then close supervision. Every partner is expected to take personal interest in affairs of the business. Different partners can maintain different contacts with employees. Like if I have 10 and if I have a total of say 100 customers, each person can take about 10 customers to themselves, other than one person taking all 100 together. It's very hard, right? So of course there is close supervision. Flexibility of operations is also very easy because partnership business is free from any legal restrictions. Partners can come together, they can make decisions in the size of the business, the capital and everything, and That's it you need to do. Then the secrecy. A partnership firm is not required to publish any annual accounts. Like in joint stock company, the audit is supposed to be submitted. So audit account is non-essential and no reports are to be filled with the government authorities. Therefore, the affairs of the partnership business can easily be kept secret and confidential. Then, the protection of minority interest. Management of partnership is democratic. Every partner has a right to be consulted and express his opinion. All important decisions are taken with the mutual consent of all partners. In the case of in a case if a partner is dissatisfied, the person can go out of the partnership firm, of course, with the consent of everyone. Cooperation. Partnership encourages mutual cooperation and trust amongst people. Partners can work in common for the benefit and do their level best to make their business prosper. And since everyone is equally liable for the debts and the profits, everyone will work very, very hard basically. Then there's a scope for expansion clearly because you have more capital. Then what are the demerits? Demerits is first limited resources. There is a limit to the maximum number of partners in a firm. Therefore, it is not possible to collect a huge financial amount, but it is definitely higher than sole proprietorship, and also you can say joint Hindu family business. Unlimited liability. Every partner is fully liable for the debts of the partnership business. Fear of risk may restrict initiative and growth of the business. Private properties of partners can also be taken up for business liabilities, which definitely really affects the business as a whole. Uncertain life. Partnership business suffers from instability. Insolvency, insanity, retirement, and death of a partner may cause an abrupt end to the business. Any partner can give a notice for the dissolution of partnership, but definitely if a partner, god forbidden, like dies, it's very hard to find another partner who is trustworthy, etc., and then your business may just abruptly end if you're only two. And also a specialization goes off, and if that partner was one of the main people in like the whole partnership, it definitely is worse. Conflicts, definitely your partners, a lot of fights may happen, conflicts may occur, lack of confidence, unity, harmony among the partners. It may delay decisions and people may be fighting and the business will go nowhere in that way. Then risk of implied agency. Every partner is an agent of the firm. A dishonest partner can bring a lot of loss to the firm. And then lack of public confidence, like the partner could be bribed with a lot of money and the partner could easily spill all the secrets, like spill the tea. Then lack of public confidence. A partnership does not enjoy the trust of public. The reason for that is the affairs of the partnership are not given publicity, like you can say the company. So exactly the public exactly does not know what happens and what does not, and the public really wants to know each and everything because related to them and their money for sure. No reports are published, and as I said before, as the textbook also said, no audits are submitted and all of that. And by a partnership concern, and it is free from public regulations, therefore the general public regard it as a group of persons who have come together to earn easy and quick profits, right? Very easily, and that's what it is known with, which is not a great which is not a great image to have in front of the public. Then blocking of capital. So a partner wanting to withdraw his capital from the firm cannot do it unless other partners agree to do it, and other partners may not want you to leave, so you'll be stuck in that partnership forever. He cannot transfer his interest to outsiders without the approval of other partners. He may therefore be deprived of higher return on his capital outside the partnership, and he may not be able to leave the partnership ever, even though he's getting like a better opportunity outside to earn better money. So that's a disadvantage. So thus the partnership form of a business organization is useful for a medium-sized business. It is the most appropriate form when a business is too big to be done by a sole proprietor, but not big enough to be incorporated into a company, basically. Okay. Now, again, you can mark all the merits and the demerits with yellow. I'll give you a little time to do so. About 5 seconds. And done. Okay. The partnership at glance, the merits and demerits, mark it with green, before the exam, if you just want to have a very, very quick revision, you can go through partnership at a glance, and you can have exactly all the headings over here that I said are very important, right? Okay, then the suitability of partnership, basically. Again, this can be marked with green as well, just the examples of what a partnership can have. Wholesale trade, then small scale and medium sized industries, professional firms, like, lawyers, doctors, and commercial services. Now, last and final thing that we have. I think this is our record of the most fastest we have completed a chapter. Okay, fine. Okay, so a partnership can be formed only through an agreement between two or more persons. This agreement may be oral or in written. Now, a written agreement is preferable because it serves as a record for future. It will help to resolve disputes. If any of that may arise among the partners, a written agreement of the partnership is called as a partnership deed. Underline this with yellow. The complete paragraph you can underline. So definitely, as we said before, an agreement can be oral or written. Written is better so that you can show the partner in future, and this is called as a partnership deed. It contains all the terms and conditions on which a partnership has been formed. It is signed by all the partners. Partnership deed is not a public document. Underline that as well. True or false question can come from there. It can be altered at any time with the mutual consent of all partners. No legal formalities are involved in its alteration. A partnership deed usually contains of the following details. Last thing that we are going to see. You can learn any 8 of the following. Name and address of the firm. Name and address of the partners. Nature of the firm's business. Duration of the partnership, if any. Partnership of the capital invested by each partner. And basically in all of this, all you can do is any 8 of them, you can mark whatever you want, and that's it. So I hope you all understood each and everything in this chapter. If you have any doubts, post in the comment section below. I'll be more than happy to solve them. And until next time, bye.